Perfect. Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the House Standing Committee on Finance. Thank you for the opportunity to present today on behalf of Canadian job and wealth creators from across the country. My name is Benjamin Bergen. I'm President of the Council of Canadian Innovators, or CCI. I'm pleased to be joined today by my colleague Nick Chavo, Director of Federal Affairs. CCI represents over 150 of Canada's fastest growing technology-intensive companies. All of our members are proudly headquartered in Canada, employing thousands of workers across the country. These companies are leaders in sectors critical to our economic future, like AI, cybersecurity, fintech, health technologies, clean tech, and more. They are innovating right here at home while commercializing their solutions globally, selling to governments and consumers across Europe, Asia, and of course, the United States. As we approach Budget 2025, it's important to recognize that Canada is at a crossroads. We are experiencing what many are calling the Great Canadian Slump, with rising living costs, stagnant productivity, and a declining GDP per capita. This reality is making it harder for Canadians to maintain their standard of living. The facts are striking. Real median wages have barely grown since the 1970s, and Canada's productivity has dropped to less than 1% since the year 2000. Forecasts now suggest Canada could be the worst performing economy in the OECD in the near future. These challenges are compounded by structural issues like climate change, global conflicts, and pressure on our healthcare system. But I'm not here to complain, and our members are not passive bystanders to these challenges. CCI's members have been actively working on policy solutions, and we believe with the right strategic actions, Canada can turn the tide. One of the most important areas for reform is Canada's approach to working with homegrown companies and ensuring Canada remains home to the very organizations that will fuel the country's long-term prosperity. At the heart of our recommendations is that we need a modern industrial strategy, one that places innovation, productivity, and the intangible assets at the core of our economic framework. This must include reforming key programs like the Scientific Research and Experimental Development Tax Credit, or SR&ED. Currently, the program is outdated, and its complexity hinders domestic companies from being able to fully benefit from it. In fact, a significant portion of SR&ED funding goes to foreign firms. We believe this must change to better support Canada's innovators. Our budget submission recommends cost-neutral ways to improve this critical program, and I'd be happy to explore this issue further during our Q&A. Additionally, reforming government procurement is essential. Government procurement spending represents a significant portion of our GDP, yet our procurement systems are often lacking, risk-averse, and are rigid and lacking the flexibility to adapt to new innovative solutions. This not only stifles Canadian companies, but it also prevents governments from accessing cutting-edge technologies that could improve the public service. The changes won't happen overnight, but tackling these procurement barriers is vital for unlocking Canada's innovation potential. I'm also happy to expand on this topic if it's of interest to the committee and speak to our recent reports, Building Winners and Buying Ideas. We also need to avoid policies that inadequately punish innovators and entrepreneurs. The recent changes to the capital gain tax, for example, are counterproductive at a time when we need to be fostering growth and investment. These policies create an added burden on entrepreneurs, making it harder for Canadian companies to scale and compete globally. When Canada's productivity is in crisis, we cannot afford to hold back our most innovative companies and their leaders. In closing, I want to address something I heard from Minister Champagne today at the Indu Committee, which I saw a reporter from The Logic tweet out. The minister suggested the challenges facing Canada's economy are due to a lack of ambition from our innovators and business leaders. If only innovators would seize the moment, we'd be better off, the minister stated. Frankly, this view is troubling, and it ignores the realities that entrepreneurs growing businesses in Canada are living through. For nearly a decade, we've been telling the government that Canadians are innovative, ambitious, and relentless in their businesses as anywhere else in the world. The real issue is that our government isn't providing the modern policy frameworks needed for them to succeed. They're still using old playbooks. Meanwhile, superpowers like the US, Europe, and Asia are using new strategies to reflect the digital economy their companies are operating in. I get it. It's easier for government to blame innovators instead of tackling the responsibility for the role they should be playing to create the marketplace frameworks for innovative Canadian companies to succeed. But it's like a hockey coach blaming the players for not skating fast enough when there's no ice on the rink. The problem isn't Canadian ambition, it's our policies, strategies, and institutions that aren't harnessing and supporting innovators. That's why Budget 2025 represents a crucial opportunity to enact bold reforms that will foster innovation, increase productivity, and drive long-term economic growth. I look forward to answering any questions and further discussing how we can build an economy that Canadians deserve, one that is prosperous, innovative, globally competitive for years to come. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bergen. And just to members again, we do have Raven